The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. Jesus came to his native place and taught the people in their synagogue. They were astonished and said, "Where did this man get such wisdom and mighty deeds? Is he not the carpenter's son? Is not his mother named Mary, and his brothers James, Joseph, Simon, and Judas? Are not his sisters all with us? Where did this man get all this?" And they took offense at him. But Jesus said to them, "A prophet is not without honor except in his native place and in his own house." And he did not work many mighty deeds there because of their lack of faith. The Gospel of the Lord. Praise be Jesus and Mary. And here we see our Lord's own relatives all amazed and astonished at him because of his knowledge and his wisdom and the power with which he operated. Though we find here, it tells us he worked very few miracles there in his own hometown, where he grew up in Nazareth, because of their lack of faith. The miracles that he worked were almost always a response to faith. But here, they lacked that. These were the people that grew up with him, not actual brothers and sisters, which he had none. Those they mention here by name are those actually close relatives, their cousins, not actual brothers and sisters. There was only one word for all relations at that time. And so, even closest friends, you still use the same word. Kind of goes with our word brethren in English that we hardly use anymore, but anyways. But so they're all amazed at him because they knew him. Well, the word used here is carpenter. In the original Greek, the actual word translates to builder, but anyways. Someone who would not be educated. So they did not expect him to be so well-informed, well-knowledgeable. And hence their lack of faith. Not recognizing that the one standing for them and teaching them the way he was is also God. And hence their lack of faith, and thus, as such, our Lord worked very few miracles there. And that's why he came up with the phrase where he told them, "A prophet is not without honor, except in his native place." Now our saint today, Saint Alphonsus, certainly did not lack that faith. Though he may not have used it as much in his early life, he actually pursued the law profession. He was a lawyer, very successful. And while still young, took on a case which he did not investigate carefully, and he lost the case. He also noticed, as he was practicing law, the corruption that was involved there, and he determined to leave the profession and enter the priesthood. And once ordained, he pursued the life of giving parish missions to bring the faith back to the people. And it was while he was doing that, and he was also advising a sister who had a very close relationship with our Lord. And Saint Alphonsus recognized it and guided her into founding her own congregation. And he founded his own, the Redemptorists. And continued to preach the parish missions. That was his work. And eventually actually got dismissed from his order. He suffered much persecution. And eventually became Bishop of Sant'Andrea de' Goti in Italy, where he was from. He was from Naples, actually. And as you know, maybe, I don't know if you know, the Neapolitans, they are very vibrant people. St. Alphonsus was no exception there. And continued to preach the parish missions and continued to work, and became bishop. And it was while he was bishop, he also became so hunched, his chin was right up to his chest. And so he resigned, but continued his work, dying at the ripe old age of 91, hunched over and senile. In fact, at one point, one of his confreres came and read to him from work, and he was so very moved, he burst into tears and he said, "Oh, that's such a beautiful work. Who wrote that?" "You did, Father." It was one of St. Alphonsus' own works. Actually, it was very prolific, right? In fact, very, very, very talented as well. All right, because he was also an artist and a musician as well. But also a very prolific writer. And actually, I think we have more works from him than most other writers, and then translated into many other languages, more languages than any other writer. Right? Several theological works on very wonderful work of Our Lady, the Glories of Mary. There are many, very profound, yet very intense. They can be very intense, but very helpful. All right? Thus he became known as also the Marian doctor. So he's a doctor of the church as well. And so one who kept that faith into very old years, until 91. God called him back at 91. So we too must have that faith. And he so lived and so preached for so many years. And God give us that faith, and may we be strong in that faith, that we may always be prepared when our time comes to be welcomed into the kingdom of heaven. Praise be Jesus and Mary. Now.